That was the fastest game I think I've ever played. What's going on, guys? If you want to support our content and pick up this month's amazing Patreon rewards, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves. If you're interested in custom playmats and sleeves, visit YourPlaymat.com and use code ITRESOLVES10YP for 10% off your entire purchase. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to yet another standard gameplay video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I want to encourage you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. One, it does really help us out, of course. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. But on top of that, it also enters you to win free giveaways, which we do very often on the channel. In fact, we just finished one up last week for a full draft booster box of Kamigawa. We'll have more in the near future, do not worry, but subscribing is just one of many ways to enter, so please do keep that in mind. But let's talk about today's deck, guys. This is brought to us by our amazing mod in Discord, Spinneraptor. Also goes by Jeremy here, and absolutely phenomenal guy. Does a lot of work for us, and so Jeremy, or Spinneraptor, however you want to go by, I really do appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you so much, including sending us very regular deck lists that are, I mean, exceptional. He does a phenomenal job with his deck building, and so it's great to feature him there as a bit of a thank you. But this is Naya modified. And so he's actually sent us a couple of different modified lists, some of different color combinations. This is the first Naya one that I have seen from him. And it features a lot of really, really powerful cards that we're going to talk about. But we're going to actually start at the top and work our way down, because I think that that might be the better way to do it. Vorinclex. Obviously, big bad creature, does a lot of damage, doubles up on 1/1 counters, all kinds of fun stuff. We can even get through that Showdown of the Skalds saga counters, like doubly fast, all that stuff. Phenomenal creature, absolutely phenomenal. Obvious include here, along with the partners who, again, can add 1/1 counters to our creatures every single turn. This is an absolutely powerhouse card for this deck. Showdown of the Skulls, obviously a great card to refill the hand, especially after we've kind of gotten to the mid to late game where we need a little bit of that, but it works great in modified because, again, whenever you cast a spell, it throws 1/1 counters on a creature you control, so it does everything this deck wants. In the 3-drop slot, we got some very key cards, the first of which is going to be Angelfire Ignition. Great option for us to be able to throw counters around and get a little bit ahead on the damage race and get some life gain back. It also works to provide indestructible to a creature and give them haste until the end of the turn, so we can actually get in for an attack very quickly. You can flash this back, of course, and so it's getting double the use in this deck in particular. We've got 2 Invigorating Hot Springs, an interesting card, but a very good one for any modified deck, really. Enters the battlefield with 4 1/1 counters on it. Modified creatures you control have haste, very important. And then once per turn as a sorcerer, you can remove a 1/1 counter from this and throw it onto a creature. So you can actually get a creature out, give it a 1/1 counter. It now has haste because it's modified, and then you can get in for the attack. Kodama of the West Tree, a card that goes in basically every modified deck I have ever seen. It's just absolutely powerful. Being able to ramp you and that kind of thing is very important. Luminarch Aspirant, going to be able to throw 1/1 counters around. Again, works great with the Hot Spring, giving some haste to things if we can get that out. One thing to note here, this also gives trample to everything that's modified, so the Kodama and the Invigorating Hot Spring work great in tandem. Kami's Flare deals 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, but then another 2 if we control a modified creature to the permanent's controller. And so this is a really nice include for the modified decks. A card that I actually haven't used yet, which is kind of surprising because we have played a couple modified lists, albeit not all playing red. Inscription of Abundance does a flexible number of things, throwing counters around, fighting stuff off, gaining some life, whatever we needed to do, it's got it. In the 1-drop slot, we got a little bit of protection with Snakeskin Veil and a 1-of Escort that we can use to protect something here. And then, of course, Swarm Shambler, which is an immediate modified creature because it does come into play with a 1/1 counter on it. Not too much in terms of tech in the land slot. It's very centered on just hitting the right colors at the right time, which I think is correct. We also get those basic lands with the Kodama, so we do run a decent number of them as well. But all in all, again, Jeremy, thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate it. Keep the list coming. We will be playing them. But This is going to be a sick one, guys. So let's jump right in. Let's see how we do. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. And yeah, I mean, I think we can keep this for sure. We've got the turn 1 Shambler. We can then get into the Invigorating Hot Spring and the partners. And then, of course, we do have the Inscription as well to kind of help us out. So I think we'll just lead on that Swarm Shambler. See what we can do. I really like these modified decks, guys, as you've probably noticed. I think we've played 2 so far. One of them was given to us by Jeremy, and it was a really, really sick one. So, yeah, I love these. I think they're very good. I'm just going to get in for the attack here. I'm not going to worry too much about throwing extra counters on this. I think we can do that later on. Cool. So the trick here is, do we want to throw the counter on and then fight off next turn, or do we just want to wait? I'm going to wait, I think. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I think I will go ahead and throw a counter on this. We do want to get, you know, this attacking in is definitely not an ideal thing for us, and so being able to kind of throw some counters around early probably seems like the best play. We also are going to be able to do this next turn and really outpower here, so we'll see how this goes. Wow, okay, very good by the opponent. They are going to get the attack in. Really can't do anything about that, so we're just going to take it. Great hit for sure. There's the Escort. We can't actually play that, which is helpful, but I think first and foremost we're actually going to do this. Let's go ahead and give a counter here. We obviously are going to throw the extra counters on the Shambler, and here we actually get a pretty aggressive attack in, which does feel pretty good. I mean, they've got a lot of power already on the field, especially with the Howling Moon here, which is scary, don't get me wrong, but I think we're going to do a decent job of potentially outpowering them here. And then, of course, we do have the Inscription that we're going to be able to fight something off, potentially. We'll see if we can do it or not. Looks like they're going to Thundering Rebuke. That does give us a little insect token here, which is kind of helpful. Cool. So, the question is, how do we want to do this? I think we definitely are going to end up playing this out. I'm going to throw 2 counter. We should have probably just done all of these instead. I think that might have been a bit of a mistake, but let's throw a counter here and let's attack in. And now I think what we end up doing is Snakeskin Veiling on the Swarm Shambler if they try and kill it. And then next turn we can Inscription doing all 3 modes because we can kick this. We actually kind of messed up this past turn and we could have actually done that anyway, but I think this will work out okay. They are going to attack in. This is fine. Again, we've got ways to kind of deal with whatever they're trying to do here. I don't think we block. I think we let the 4 in. Very curious to see what they could have here. Yeah, sure. So this is like slowly guaranteeing us the win. It's not quite there yet, but I think our protection against any kind of burn spells are really important here. And then we can Inscription, of course, next turn to kind of deal with whatever we need to. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and do this just to guarantee as best we can. Wow, that's really good as well. Well, that kind of keeps us from even having to use the... So we just get to do this, attack in, and we did it. I mean, easy win with this modified list. That was really good. They did have us down pretty far, but I mean, we just very clearly outpowered that. That was awesome. Let's jump into a game 2. All right, guys, here we are for game number 2. And this is an interesting hand, but I do think we can keep it. We need some mana here for sure, but the, well, there you go. That's, that really helps us out. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and play a Swarm Shambler, of course. The question becomes, do we need to keep putting counters on this? Like, how do we want to go about doing that? That is something that I think is pretty important to figure out pretty early here. The nice thing is, in this instance, what we can do is play this, and then just pass. And then whatever we need to do, we can do it. So we can Snakeskin Veil on something if they try and kill something. And then next turn, we still have the red mana for that Hot Spring, and we can start to throw some more counters around that might get things out of burn range here. Could be really, really key for us. So let's see what they do. We will go ahead and activate this ability. I am questioning whether they've got some kind of... I mean, counter magic seems like the obvious play in my view here. So the question is, do we want to throw the Hot Spring out just to try and get something going here, or do we just want to keep throwing the counters on? All of these are good options. Okay, hear me out here. I think what I want to do is pass, leaving the Snakeskin Veil up plus double countering on the Swarm Shamblers. This may not be the right play. I have no idea, but I am going to try it. And we'll see what they've got here. So they're going to shock. I'm going to go ahead and Snakeskin Veil here. The nice thing is we also just get double activations off of all this stuff, which is really cool. So we're going to get 2 1/1s here, which is really, really nice. This is getting a lot of counters on it, which is a little worrisome, but I think we might be okay. We'll see. We'll be very easily getting out of the like 2 damage range from the Ashmouth Dragon, so they are gonna have to double up to kill some stuff here, but they're spreading our board out pretty significantly here, which is kind of nice. Sure, they could have another removal spell, but we're just gonna continuously spread the board out, which is really, really helpful. Would absolutely love a white source here. That would be really important for us, I think. We're just gonna throw more counters on the Swarm Shamblers here, though. Pretty obvious play, I think. I'm sure they've got something they can do here, but again, this is going to provide us with just more and more of these little insects, which is kind of nice. Yep, cool. So they do have a treasure token available, but that's it. There's our white source. I like that. All right, so what is the play? It's kind of an awkward place to be because we do have a number of things here that we can't do everything. You know what I mean? But that being said, so we could Angelfire Ignition, just get in for a really big hit. Alternatively, could just Luminarch Aspirant, or just Invigorating. I don't think we Showdown quite yet. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I am gonna attack in here. Chances are they flip the Smoldering Egg next turn, I think. Right? Like, I think that that's pretty obvious. They could have a Fading Hope here, which would be really annoying. Yep, and they do. Very, very annoying, for sure. I think we just resolve it. There's nothing else we can do. They can block, but they obviously still are going to take 3 damage here. I don't know. Maybe that was the wrong play. I don't know. They did have... That Fading Hope was a pretty big one for them to hit here. I am going to throw the Swarm Shambler out. Again, what this means is when they flip the Ashmouth Dragon, which they probably will again this turn, they're probably going to try and kill that Swarm Shambler right away, which they'll be able to, but we will get a 1/1 in response. And I think the important thing there is that, wow, okay, no, they are not going that route. Fascinating. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting turn then. We get to do this. We're going to do this. Definitely throw a counter here. I'm going to offer the trade here, and I will happily offer them to... I mean, they can freely block here, but they're just going to block like that. That's fine. We still get a good bit of damage in. I should have attacked with this too. My thought was we had 1 mana left open, and I just miscounted. I don't know why in the world I did that, but it's fine. Next turn, we do have Showdown of the Skalds, so no matter what they do... Okay, so this is flipping, and they're drawing a card off of that Archmage, so we are definitely in some trouble this turn. They are going to throw that in the graveyard and draw. Curious to see what they might have. We'll see. They're obviously going to probably just immediately go for that Luminarch Aspirant, I would imagine. Tax, exile, copy it. Okay. So they're just going to attack in. Maybe, maybe not. Looks like maybe not. Okay. Fascinating. All right, let's go ahead and Showdown. Exile the top 4. Let's see what we get. Perfect. Let's go ahead and throw that land out. Let's do this. I think we throw the counter there. Throw a counter, I guess here. Just so they have to double target these Swarm Shamblers. I think that that's pretty important. They're obviously not going to be able to really attack in this turn, but I mean, they are facing down quite a bit of damage here. It's just a matter of can they get enough instants and sorceries, which with this out, I mean, I have to imagine they can. But we'll see. We'll do the best we can. Again, if they do target these, we actually get quite a bit in response, so that's kind of helpful. There's really no reason to do this, but I am. Yep. Okay. Yep. That was really, really good. So we are trying to set ourselves up for that Showdown, though, because we can start to throw some more 1/1 counters around, and I'm hoping that this works out. If they attack in with the Demi-Lich, do we just block it with the Swarm Shambler? Like, probably. They decided not to. That's fascinating. Okay. So we definitely play land. We've got a lot we can do this turn, actually. So I'm going to do this. Throw a 1/1 counter there. Throw a 1/1 counter there. Obviously put the damage here and attack. Let's see how they block, if at all. They could again have... Wow, they did not block. Okay. So the question is, do we wait on this? Because we don't necessarily have to pull the trigger quite yet. I think the answer is yes. So this is instant speed, so we can just pull the trigger on this anytime they target like the Swarm Shambler with something. We can just fight off that Ashmouth Dragon in response. Okay. Doesn't seem that good. This is obviously like a wizard focused deck, so I get why it's in here, but that seems a bit slow to me. It's also a pretty big mana investment. Man, this deck is like fascinating to me. Okay. So the question is, what do we want to fight here? Maybe we should have done this first, just so they couldn't have done anything, but I was kind of expecting they would have something. Okay. The good news is here, we probably wasted their burn on that, so they can't just burn it out again is the important thing. Now, if they do have another Smoldering Egg, I guess they could potentially get there. They're drawing a crap ton of cards, but I think the Ashmouth Dragon was the big thing to kill. This is interesting because we do have first strike on this. They do get a shock though, so I guess they get to play it. Yeah. Okay. We at least get a little 1/1 in its place. Man, okay, Jeremy, can I just say, the fact that you included so many of these little Swarm Shamblers is really important. The question is, do we triple block this? I think the answer is no. I think we just take the 4. All right, sweet. We did it. Heck yes, Jeremy. Dude, this deck is amazing. All right, let's jump into a game 3. That was a bit of a long one, but we still have plenty of time. Let's do it right now. All right, guys, here we are for our third game. This is a not great hand, unfortunately. If any of these were a white source, I would happily keep, but I'm gonna have to send this one back. Wow, interesting. I am gonna keep this. We'll send one of these 3 back. It's a bit of a weird hand, I know, but it does give us options to kill a bunch of stuff, and I think that might be a good thing for us on this keep, actually. Let's go ahead and throw the farmland out. This is going to give us that white source if we need it, so if we happen to draw like a Luminarch Aspirant and we want to play that above something else, we can. Interesting, just a Story Seeker. That's fascinating. And there you go. That's why we did that. So the question is, do we play that or do we play that Kami Flare? We're gonna go this route. The reason being, we've got that Kodama coming down next turn to allow us that ramp. We'd like to have a modified creature that can attack in as soon as it comes into play. And so we'll see if this actually works, but this is an interesting place for them to be, I think. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and put the counter here, and this now does have tramples, so it's guaranteed to hit, and we get that basic land search, so I think that that's definitely worth it. We can really kind of go for anything. I'll just pick a green source. We've got basically every color of mana we need at this point. We could have doubled up on white, but... That was the fastest game I think I've ever played. It's up there. It's definitely up there. Interesting. All right, well, let's talk about this deck. All right, guys, so we went undefeated with Naya modified. Now, granted, I do want to point a couple of things out here. In particular, that last game, very short. I don't think that deck was a very optimal version of mono white life gain, which I imagine is what that deck was. They obviously had the veterans or the Luminarch whatever, but in particular they played a Story Seeker, which is like a very baseline to drop, you know, lifelinker. Doesn't seem that good for the deck. I would imagine they'd have something a little more powerful, so just not optimized, I'm guessing, which is probably why they gave up so quick. But regardless, that's an undefeated run with Naya modified. Jeremy, my man, that was sick. That was beautiful. I love these modified lists. We've played a couple of them, and I've talked about that at the top of the episode, but there have been a couple of these going around that just seem really strong, and it benefits from being over aggressive even more than it already was previous to, you know, the new Kamigawa set. So they just seem really clean to me. This was a great addition to that lineup, and so I'm really glad we got to play it here. Jeremy, again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to all of you guys for watching as well. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a blast to play this one. I highly recommend it. But I'll see you guys next time. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk again very soon.